What's up, YouTube? It's been a minute since I've done the last video. I had a lot going on in my life, so putting videos on has been a little bit of a least of my priorities lately. But anyhow, I wanted to do a video on diesel oil and maintenance on your Duramax, or any diesel for that matter. I haven't always owned diesels, and it's a little different than gas cars. Tell you a little bit about myself. When I first got out of high school, I worked at a quick lube. Kind of started there to change oil, and ended up managing the place for quite a few years. Kind of a quick lube car wash and minor automotive repairs. But one thing it ingrained in me was maintenance. I'm glad I did it because I'm a stickler for maintenance on machines. I've seen what lack of maintenance does. I've seen what proactive maintenance does, and I'm just a firm believer in maintenance. Changing oil, changing filters. The lack of maintenance and what it does to a machine is incredible. And then providing excellent maintenance on your equipment. And as I've gotten older and started owning pieces of equipment, and running businesses that had trucks that needed serviced all the time, I lose a motor on one of the trucks, and I find out my guy hasn't been changing the oil, or hasn't checked the oil, and just staying on top of it. And then I've had vehicles, gas motors that went 350,000 miles, vans that ran hard for 350,000 miles. We changed the oil on them, and it didn't matter if it was a Ford, Chevy, any of those. It just mattered about maintenance. So one thing I wanted to talk about was how clean the oil on my Duramax is after I did the EGR and DPF delete. Now, again, I'm not encouraging guys to do things illegal to their trucks. Do what you're going to do. But I am going to say that I think that if something is designed to pollute the oil, and designed to dilute the oil just to meet emissions, and then what happens is you end up going through your motor quicker, you end up replacing parts quicker. How economical and how environmentally friendly can that be? That's just my argument, And again, I've been around machines my whole life. I've been driving tractors since I was 8 years old. From my grandpa. So I understand that, we need to have emissions controls, but the things that they do these days, I think that it is all about money and bureaucracy. And but I don't want to go on and off about that. We do what we got to do. So my Duramax I bought was a one owner, had all the factory records from GM or Chevy dealerships, wherever the guy was. Whenever he needed service, he got service. But the only problem with that was he was changing the oil when it says change oil soon. On these trucks, that could be anywhere from 7,000. It could be even upward into the 10,000 range. It bases its oil change off of how many times it's regenerated during that oil's life. And there's the computer tells you, okay, it's time to change the oil based on how you've been driving and how many times it's regen. But I think any emissions intact truck needs to have the oil changed at least every 5,000. I started, as soon as I picked this truck up, I did full service on it, and I changed the oil religiously every 5,000. Some guys are going 3,000 miles. Now, if you own a Ford 6.4 liter, I recommend changing oil on that every 3,000. I know the 6.4 gets a bad rap, but I've got a buddy that has a 6.4 09 dually, really King Ranch, badass truck, but it's got the dreaded 6.4. He changes his oil every 3,000 miles, and that thing pulls like a hog, and it has 325,000 miles on it. So with no major repairs. So that goes to show kind of what maintenance does in my book. So, but that's just a side note. It's not really about. I'm not talking about those trucks in particular. I'm talking about the Duramax. So what I noticed is everything. Let me back up. Every time I change the oil, doesn't matter how long I let it drain, it's black. If you own one of these trucks, it's black. The oil's black. You check it, it's black. You put new oil in it, it's black. And that's because that EGR is putting soot back in the system. And then also, you have your dilution when you go through the regeneration, because that unburnt fuel is kind of pissed back into the crankcase. So this oil takes a lot of beating, and so you should run a quality oil. But think about that. You're basically polluting your oil just by driving it down the road. And what does that do to the lubricity? So, but you know, I just thought it'd be neat to show you guys. Like, this will be like my third oil change since I shut down the EGR and removed the DPF. And I just noticed it when I did the last oil change about 1,200 miles ago, that the oil was golden. And you know, I like that. That's like, I don't know. It's just, I like it. So, and if you guys know, you guys that understand vehicles, you feel me on that. It's really nice to change the oil or change the fluid in something and have it be clean with the new fluid. So I was just going to show you guys I just did a 1,200 mile trip to Oklahoma from basically Denver to Oklahoma and back. Pulled a heavy load to Oklahoma and fought headwinds. I mean, this truck ran hard. I was hard on this girl. You know, headwind the whole damn way, all through Kansas. I mean, it was a bitch of a drive. But I mean, my truck worked its ass off. On the way back, I mean, you know, she didn't have a load, but you know, I was fighting the wind on the way back too. So, but so I wanted to show you how clean the oil is still after 1,200 miles. This truck's currently sitting about 186,000 and some change, and the oil is cleaner than it was when it had 120,000 miles when I bought it. So, yeah, let's check it out. And I'll give you another example. I've got my Cat skid steer here. This is what prompted me to make the video. I'm doing the 1,000-hour service on my skid steer. Again, service. No screwing around with that. And the oil on this thing is like, it's like it just came out of the bottle. So you know, because you have a diesel, it doesn't have to be black oil. But I'll just show you the skid steer real quick and just kind of show you what I'm talking about, and then I'll pop the hood on the Duramax. So let me show you. So, you know, different animal, but it's a little diesel engine. I think 76 horsepower diesel. Just did the full service. I mean, you're probably not even going to see the oil. You're going to think I don't even have oil in it. There, you can barely see it. So that's the oil in this. I just changed the oil, and it's like it just came out of the bottle. We run over here to the Chevy. Get my white towel for reference for you guys. But yeah, I mean, it's exciting. I know it's kind of a nerdy thing, and some of you guys might think it's a boring video, but to those of you who are knuckleheads like me, you'll see it's pretty cool to pull the dipstick out and have it be pretty much golden. And I think, like I said, I just put 1,200 hard ass miles on this thing. Well, at least 600 of it was hard. But it was like it was out of the bottle when I got it. And I still think that this engine is getting cleaner as I go. But as you can see, there ain't no black nasty soot on there. So anyway, just thought I would share that with you guys. I have a buddy who has a LBZ Duramax, no DPF, EGR intact. And actually, we changed the oil at my shop, and so I've got to see that oil changed for many times, and it's always black. So it doesn't matter what he does to it, it's black. But I can promise you, if he shut that EGR down after about 3 or 4 oil changes, it would be gold. So you know, you do the math. Would you rather have an engine that is designed to fail prematurely, the components fail prematurely, all that added waste to create those parts, all that added waste to you know, keep the truck on the road, and then maybe even completely junk the truck because it has too much wrong with it? Is it worth it to do that, or modify it to where you know, it may not be the most compliant as far as air quality, but I mean, if you do the research, diesels were never really polluting the problem anyway. So it's kind of, I don't know. You know, I don't want to get political, but I will say that with the current administration in our office, with the price of fuel and the price of oil, you know, it's nicer to be able to know that if I need to extend this to 6,000 miles, the oil's still good. You know, if I've got to run it, you know, but when it's diluted and polluted like it is from the factory, I mean, do not go past 5,000 miles. Don't do it. Don't wait for the oil change light. Don't listen to the dealer. And I'm pretty liberal about it. I mean, 5,000. Some guys are going to comment or chime in, that I'm crazy and I should be changing every 3,000, 3,500. Now, all my gas motors, I've always changed it right at 3,000. That's what I recommended back in my old lube days. And don't forget about your other fluids, man. Pump out your power steering fluid. Uh, brake fluid is a huge neglected deal. Get you an evacuation pump. Pump the brake fluid out. You can have a vehicle with 500,000 miles on it with the original calipers. So brake fluid's another one that's just highly neglected. Anyway, service, boys. I know it's kind of a boring video. I'm interested in this kind of thing, and I just thought that maybe those of you that are on the fence or just kind of want to know another pro about getting that crap out of your engine. You got clean oil, so when that baby's hugging a load down the road, lugging a load down the road, she's happy. I mean, you got plenty of lubrication, plenty of oil pressure, everything is just right, and the truck just does all around, runs cleaner and cooler. So that's it. That's what I got for you guys. Have a great day, and comment if you have any questions or any comments about what you do. How often do you change it, and what's the oil like in your truck? I love to read the comments. So take care, fellas. Peace out.